Hi, the second part, several sections, we will speak about the logic of the virtual relativity. There is one mathematical logic commands the existence. If any operation wrong in our visible world, it's wrong also in the emptiness and in the particles of atom, etc. The mathematics abstract the physics in two ways: geometry and calculation. Geometry represents the place relations in one or two or three dimensions as a static relation. Lines, straight and bend. Length, distance, area, and volume also represent direction relation, the angular, trigonometry, and etc. Calculation deal with the variable volume, including secretly the time effect as a multiplicity of the unit. Place, meter, time, second, speed, number, and their complicated operation. Fraction, script, radical, integral, large operator, function, limit, logarithm, matrix, etc. We need this to explain any event, so its conception must be correct, accurate, and clear, etc. So to demonstrate our theory, which has different point of view, we have clashed with some conceptions, obliged to make revision to the main conception of the physics and also the math. The speed of light is the speed of the emptiness. Summarize. That means the united form of the time-place. The photon is connected to it. This makes the photon moves by the objective absolute speed of the emptiness c in magnitude value. It's not its private speed of photon speed. The photon is defined to himself only his direction on this emptiness speed. So the direction is subjective, but the speed is objective. So define to himself his direction on the emptiness speed as absolute value, which became, after adding the direction, became velocity, not the speed in magnitude, became velocity half direction of the photon. This is the absolute essential primary speed, itself and for itself, which the philosopher Aristotle has suggested it as a rational beginning of the existence, because we cannot prove any existence of nothingness before it. And because we cannot prove that the movement come to the existence later from outside resource as additional property to the existence. In religious also suggest the harmony like water before its differentiation to place and time, sky and earth, body and soul, land and sky. According to the same theory of Einstein, the mass itself is composed from amount of crossed absolute speed, c. It contains energy related with c by Einstein's famous equation, and the mass deconstruction make it vanish as electromagnetic field in the space like the light vanishes, because the ability of the emptiness to exchange time by place and the opposite. Also in Maxwell equilibrium, we find relations between epsilon zero and mu zero, which equal 1 on c, or p zero equal e zero on c. So p zero multiplied by c equal e zero. So this is Maxwell the same. The rule of direction, clockwise and counterclockwise, also exist in the fields relation and the inertia of the movement of the mass, linear or angular, command every velocity and force. The emptiness is the fundamental shape of any existence. It is undifferentiated form of absolute movement c, which has place and time united together. Time, place, in its continuous exchanging. It is the beginning and the end of any existence, light, mass, or power. Light and mass as a differentiated shape of time, place. On another level of acceleration upon the level of the speeds, has its own quantity of power and the quality of words data, hertz. The objective existence is a continuous movement, place, time, on power. But we analyze it subjectively to the independent place, independent time, and independent energy as we feel it from boarding the mass which we connected to, so give us the subjective stability. For it, we define ourselves as the center of the place, carrying with us Cartesian or coordination system as a sacred cross of the intersection of time and place, with our bodies, which hold to it juices. We move and rotate with it. Also suppose it as a absolute dimensions of the straight place continuous for endless space. So the time became straight also start from endless past and continue to endless future. And feel the continuous power as a limit amount of energy. Do not die or create from nothing. Lavoisier's principles of energy conservation. But the natural shape of this energy is the continuous power of bend movement, the absolute speed itself c, and its crossed rotation. The argue between Galileo and Vatican, we will represent it because Galileo suppose the sun is the center of the place. Vatican suppose that everybody represents the Son of God. Hold this crust, hold the center of the place. That's philosophical difference. It's not science. It's philosophical argument. Usually we need usually we need a force of the same axis to change the speed value, or perpendicular force to change the direction of the speed. Then the new perpendicular force behave as angular speed, W, similar to time, makes the direction of the velocity rotates around the private stable center without changing its magnitude, the speed. This perpendicular force make any movement bend and has its own time cycle, W or hertz, which can be regarded from its stability center as a time pure changing in the direction. So in this way, the time W contains the power, not only the speed. And this guides us to find out if the time is a power or not. The speed and its curvature time defines the radius of the circle as a stable private self-placed center of that subjective time for a definite curved movement. It's the time-place united via the cyclic movement before we separate it between time alone and place alone and make it from the power. We are doing it from the supposed stable center, the earth which we live on. Philosophically, it's called time place, time point place, time multiplied by place. No time without place, no place without time, no absolute stability, no absolute straight movement, and so, according to the philosophy of the general relativity theory of Einstein. Then we have to start from the movement. Our point of view must be from the absolute C in magnitude. It must be virtual and give different view. R is a schematic line of the simultaneous velocities with our own time, which we feel it from the stillness. It is the synchronization line of the velocity between the self-stability and the absolute motion of the emptiness. The now call it dahr. Hmm? To continue.